I never expected to tie the knot again at the age of 44, but that's just how life is. I go by Dorothy, and I met Robert during a retirement celebration for a coworker. 2 years older than me, he was delightful and successful. Not expecting to find love once my first marriage broke down, I concentrated on raising Emily, my daughter. But Robert altered everything. We ate right away and had the same dry sense of humor and appreciation of peaceful afternoons at home. We both carried baggage, me with Emily and him with Jessica. At 22, Emily was already seriously seeing her boyfriend, Mark. Living on her own, Jessica was around the same age and employed by a marketing company in downtown. Wanting to make a good impression, I recall being really anxious about meeting her. That initial meeting ought to have been a warning sign. Spending most of the evening texting on her phone, Jessica hardly looked at me. She merely shrugged and replied, "She's fine, I guess," when Robert asked her later what she thought of me. When we got married, Robert and I agreed to keep things basic. Just a small gathering at City Hall with our closest relatives, no grand event. Afterwards, we celebrated at a little restaurant. Nothing fancy, but it seemed right to me. Emily was there, radiantly happy for me. Claiming she had job responsibilities, Jessica arrived late and went early. Living in Robert's flat together required some flexibility. Emily visited frequently for supper. She and Robert got along wonderfully. He would provide her job guidance, and they would laugh around as they had known each other always. But Jessica, that was a different narrative. "Hi, Jessica, how's your work coming?" When she arrived, I would have asked. She would say, "Fine," hardly even turning to gaze from her phone. "I made the pasta your dad mentioned, your favorite kind." Not hungry. Every interaction seemed like pulling teeth. I asked about her employment, interests, friends, everything. Nothing came of use. If she bothered to respond at all, her answers would be monosyllables. On one evening on my way to the kitchen, I heard Jessica chatting to Robert in his study. Though I know I shouldn't have listened, the door was just slightly open. I couldn't help myself. "Dad, I just don't get what you see in her," Jessica said, her voice full of contempt. "She's really simple. None like Mom. Have you noticed her wardrobe choices? Total simpleton." I watched for Robert to stand up for me. He merely sighed and said, "Honey, give her some time. She cheers me up." Heart sad, I silently turned away. I had always realized I lacked some sophisticated social skills, and simply an average woman trying to be sincere and friendly. Still, hearing Jessica say hurts more than I could have imagined. One Sunday afternoon, I was cleaning dishes when Emily rushed through the door, almost bouncing with joy. Her eyes gleamed in a way I hadn't seen since she was a small child. Her cheeks flushed. "Mom, Mom," not interested in the soap. She seized my damp hands. Mark suggested. I pulled her into a tight hug after setting down the plate I was holding back into the sink. "Oh, sweetie, share with me everything." Emily told me all about how Mark had driven her to the location of their first date as we sat at the kitchen table. Robert was at work, probably for the best. This was a moment just for us. He got down on one knee. "Mom," Emily exclaimed, displaying the ring to me. "And you know what I thought about right following my yes?" I shook my head, amused by her fervor. "Your wedding gown, the one I used to test on a small scale in childhood. Remember how you would let me walk about in it, even though it was virtually swallowing me whole?" My heart grew swelling. Hoping for exactly this moment, I had kept the outfit meticulously maintained for 25 years. "Sweetie, I still have it. It is in absolutely great shape." Emily widened her eyes. "Really? You would let me wear it?" "Of course. I had been saving it for every one of you throughout these years. Come on, let's right now go look at it." In my walk-in closet, we spent the next hour gently removing the dress from its preservation box. Emily saw it and her eyes filled with tears. The silk was as creamy white as the day I had first worn it, and the complex beading still gleamed. Running her fingertips over the cloth, "Mom, it's even more beautiful than I remembered," she said softly. "And you mentioned this came from that well-known designer, the one who passed away recently last year." I gestured. "Yeah, among his early works was this one. To pay for it, I saved months. A fortune back then was $3,000. A few days later, I came into Emily's post while perusing my social media account. As always, my daughter had a taste for the theatrical. This announcement was no exception. "In 6 months, I'll be walking down the aisle in something quite unique," she had said. My mother's vintage wedding gown created by one of the most venerable designers in fashion. Beginning a new family legacy, all of the women in our family will wear this bit of history. Looking forward sharing pictures of my lovely mother in her early years sporting her dress next to my wedding pictures. The remarks came in right away. Emily's buddies were gassing over it. "Oh my God, isn't that the designer whose old items are selling for like $50,000 now? You are quite fortunate. That garment has to be priceless. Tell me you will post the side-by-side pictures, please. That's quite a fantastic legacy." Emily answered them all, obviously gassing over the thrill. She said, "Mom spent roughly $3,000 on it back then. When someone inquired about the initial price, best investment ever, right?" Reading over the comments made me smile at my daughter's energy. But something in the back of my mind nagged at me, a weird sensation this social media post was going to generate trouble from. I simply had no idea how accurate that feeling would prove to be. One calm Thursday afternoon, the doorbell rang. I expected no one. Robert was at work. I nearly disbelieved my eyes as I opened the door and found Jessica standing there. She had never once visited me when her father wasn't home in the 3 years I had been married to Robert. "Can I come in?" she said, her voice remarkably courteous. "I have to talk to you about something." I moved aside, still adjusting to this unplanned visit. "Of course. Would you want some coffee?" "Not thanks." She headed straight to the living room and settled down, her luxury purse just on her lap. Her manner made me uncomfortable in some way. She seemed too calm, too intentional. "I saw Emily's post," she remarked, her fingers wriggling with the clasp of her handbag without prelude, "about the wedding dress." "Oh." Sitting across from her, I asked where this was headed. Jessica had never exhibited any curiosity at anything connected to Emily. "My wedding is in 4 months," she said, squarely staring at me for what felt like the first time ever. 2 months prior to Emily's. Still not exactly following, I nodded. "Indeed, Robert highlighted that. The planning is going nicely, I hope." Jessica slightly leaned forward. "I intend to wear the dress." The words hung there between us. I felt momentarily as though I had misinterpreted her. "The designer dress," she answered, as though I may not grasp. "The one Emily put up regarding. I'd ought to wear it to my wedding." A few times my mouth opened and closed before I spoke. "Jessica, I doubt that would be suitable. Emily was promised that dress since she was a small child. But I'm getting married first," she said, her voice veering toward the edge I too well understood. "And right now I am your stepdaughter. Shouldn't that mean something?" Inhaled deeply to help me to organize my ideas. Jessica, Emily had dreamed about donning this outfit since she was small. When it was almost dragging on the floor behind her, she used to spin around in it. For more than 20 years, this has been our unique quality. "So schedule her wedding," Jessica remarked, as if it were the most obvious answer in the world. "Let me start wearing it first. She might then have it." I gave a slow head shake. "That is not how this operates." Emily and Mark issued save the dates and already reserved their site. "But listen, perhaps you should think about moving your wedding to after Emily's if you really intend to wear the dress." Then you might. Are you really advising I put off my whole wedding? Her gaze narrowed and her voice intensified. Think about it logically. I tried to persuade her. You will first be getting married. If you wear the dress, everyone will see it in your wedding pictures all across social media. Emily and you have many mutual acquaintances. They will all see both weddings. Walking down the aisle in a dress that has already been plastered all over Instagram from your wedding would bring Emily much grief. Could you appreciate how it would make her feel? Jessica's face flushed scarlet, and she sprung to her feet so fast her beautiful purse dropped to the floor. Her calm totally broken, she yelled, "You're just a selfish, greedy witch. You have never wanted me to join this family. Saying no to me most likely gives you some terrible pleasure." Startled by the explosive outburst, I got up as well. "Jessica, kindly, that isn't. Save it." Now she was almost shivering from wrath. "You're simply a gold digger who married my dad, and right now you wouldn't even perform one kind deed for his actual daughter. You are nothing but a nasty, frugal, depressed woman who believes she is unique since she owns some outdated, expensive clothing." She reached for her pocketbook from the floor while tears flowed down her face. Her black streaks down her cheeks were from running mascara. "Jessica, kindly take a seat. Let us now discuss this logically." "Reasonable. You wish logical." Now, as I knew the neighbors could hear, she was screaming quite loudly. "How is this for rational? You really hate me. I have loathed you always. And today I see I was correct about you all along." She bolted out the apartment, slamming the door so forcefully that the portraits shook the walls. My hands shaking, I slumped back onto the couch. I had never seen Jessica lose control like that in 3 years of coping with her cold shoulder. For the next few hours I was in a haze, going over the conversation in my thoughts and wondering whether I could have handled it better. My gut contracted when I heard Robert's key in the lock that evening. I sensed what was about to happen. He skipped even removing his coat. "What the freak did you do to my daughter?" "Robert, kindly let me clarify." "Explain what?" He dumped his briefcase on the seat. "How could you cause my little daughter to wither? How could you not do one basic act for her?" I drew in a long breath. "You know this, it's not easy. Emily has been promised that garment since she was a small child. For 25 years, this has been our particular thing. Jessica is your family today, too." Robert's voice awakened. "At least she ought to be. Her name is Dorothy, my daughter, and you treat her as though she were nothing. That's not equitable." Tears were prickling at my eyes. "I have worked really hard with Jessica. I have experimented for 3 years. Still, this is not about tolerating her. This relates to a vow I promised my daughter long before I came across you." "It's just a dress," Robert yelled. "Today. She only wants it. It is not only a dress." I was now yelling as well. "It represents all I promised my daughter. It's about her early dreams and the custom we were going to do together. How can you not observe that? All I see is my wife turning away a kind deed for her daughter, something she would enjoy on the most significant day of her life. And regarding Emily, regarding her satisfaction, what about it? Does that at all concern you?" Robert's visage grew firm. "Emily is not my daughter." Between us, those 4 words hum like poison. Breathing heavily, we looked at each other across the living room and knew we had passed a line from which we would not be able to readily return. In our apartment, the solitude was intolerable. Robert slept in the guest room for the following several days. We avoided each other in an uncomfortable dance, alternately waiting in the kitchen until the other person left a room before entering. Unspoken comments had great weight between us. Robert entered the kitchen one evening while I was cooking dinner and stood there looking worn out. We both stopped for a time, just listening to the sound of pasta boiling on the stove. Turning down the heat, I said, "Robert, at last." I believe I have a remedy." Wearily he gazed at me. Then he took out a kitchen chair and settled down. We had not correctly faced each other in days before. "Maria Rodriguez is a seamstress, I know. She is very outstanding, among the best in the city. She may create Jessica a dress modeled by mine. Same technique, same grace, but distinctly hers." Robert's face softened somewhat, so I carried on. "Maria makes use of the best fabrics, French lace and Italian silk. For some of the richest families in town, she has designed gowns. Last year, the daughter of my friend Sarah had her sew her wedding gown. It was quite beautiful. Every guest at the wedding considered it to be a designer creation. How much could something like that cost?" His voice softer than it had been in days, Robert asked. "Don't worry about that," I answered fast. "I would want to pay for it. That would be Jessica's wedding present. Robert, I truly want to right things here. I want to let Jessica know I too worry about her happiness." Hope seemed to flutter in Robert's eyes. He turned to grab his phone. "Let me right now phone her. This might go. This may truly be successful." I held my breath while he put Jessica's phone on speaker after dialing it. On the third ring, she responded. "Dad, sweet, pay attention. Dorothy has a really brilliant idea. One amazing seamstress could create you a dress exactly like—" "Are you mocking me?" Jessica's words sliced like a knife across the kitchen. "A knockoff. You want me to wear some inexpensive imitation outfit created by some haphazard local seamstress. Jessica, she's really quite well." I made an attempt to interrupt. She yelled, "Shut up," over the phone. "I wish not to hear your voice. I am looking for the dress. The dress designed by the designer, not some miserable copy from some nobody's dressmaker." "Sweetheart, just pay attention," Robert said. "No, you really listen. I had to have the dress, that identical garment, not in some bargain basement imitation, as I walking down the aisle. God, I find it unbelievable that you are even implying this. Please, Jessica, please. This is nasty. I would sooner wear a garbage bag than some imitation garment. Call me back only if you intend to let me know I may get the genuine thing." The call stopped suddenly, Robert and I sitting at our kitchen table in shocked silence, though neither of us moved to turn off the boiling spaghetti on the stove. Robert's phone rang when I was brewing coffee early the next morning. He looked at the TV and turned it on speakers right away. "Hello, Dad." The kitchen came alive with Jessica's voice. She sounded almost calculated, less than yesterday. "I have been considering the whole matter." Robert shot me a hopeful glance. "Indeed. What is on your mind, sweetheart?" "Well, since your wife is acting rather stubborn about the dress, she avoided using my name as I observed. I came upon still another fix. I came upon this really fantastic designer clothing. It is exactly right. Actually, she's stockpiling a better than old one. That's perfect, honey." Robert smiled. "Problem solved, then." "Very nearly. It's 20,000. I almost knocked over my coffee mug. "You could simply give me the money since she won't be giving me the dress." "Only fair, then." Expecting Robert to brush it aside, I focused closely on his face. Rather, he was nodding with consideration. "Let me consider it, honey. We could be able to arrange something." I lost it at that point. "Are you out of your mind?" I went off. 20,000. With his palm, Robert covered the phone. "Dorothy, kindly. No, you would kindly." Now I was shivering with rage. "You are already paying for her whole wedding. The location, the food, the flowers, everything. And the 2 weeks honeymoon in the Maldives? Have you totally lost your sense?" The speaker picked Jessica's voice. "Oh, fantastic. She is right here. Always seeking control over everything. This is ridiculous." I carry on. "This is not now about the dress. You are becoming victim to emotional manipulation here." Robert's face took on gloomy tones. Had you simply handed her the outfit in the first place, none of this would be occurring. Dorothy once asked one day. She wanted one darn day, that is all. Oh, so I am at fault here. Your daughter demands $20,000 and starts a tantrum, but strangely I am the irrational one. Indeed, it is your fault. Now he was yelling as well. It is you who began all of this. It is you who failed one modest sacrifice for the happiness of my daughter. Minor sacrifice. You asked me to break a commitment I made to my daughter 25 years ago, and you expect me to make a little sacrifice. Dad, Jessica said, her voice cutting in, are you going to let her address you like this? I felt something crack within of me. I went to our bedroom without another word and opened my suitcase. Robert trailed me. What are you doing? What does it look like? I began stuffing clothes into the suitcase. I'm heading out. I'm returning to my old flat. You're being ridiculous. No, what's ludicrous is that here you cannot see what is happening. It's absurd that you would be ready to toss our marriage over a spoilt outburst and $20,000. Stop, Dorothy. Still, I was zipping the suitcase already. I went to the door with my keys, handbag, and Jessica's phone call was the last sound I heard before I departed. Dad, are you still on there? About that money? I had not intended to check through Jessica's wedding pictures. Since I went back to my old apartment, I had actually been avoiding social media totally. But one evening, after a bottle of wine, curiosity won out. Of course, the pictures seemed ideal. Jessica was shining in an obviously costly dress. All lace and crystals, probably worth every penny of that $20,000. Her father stood proudly beside her, and I felt a pain in my chest, seeing Robert in his tuxedo, smiling like nothing was wrong in the world. Then I saw Jessica's caption beneath the main photo. The most perfect day of my life. My heart is so full knowing that everyone who truly loves me was there to share this magical moment. No drama, no negativity, just pure joy and love. So grateful that nobody who wanted to spoil this special day was present. #perfectwedding, #truelove, #family first. My fingers tightened around my wine glass as I read it. The dig was obvious. Subtle enough to seem innocent to outsiders, but clear as day to me. What hurt more than her words, though, was seeing Robert's like on the post. He knew exactly what she meant, and he'd endorsed it. 2 months crawled by. I threw myself into helping Emily with her wedding preparations, grateful for the distraction. She had sent Robert an invitation, complete with a handwritten note telling him how much his presence would mean to her. He never responded. The morning of Emily's wedding dawned bright and clear. As I helped her into my dress, our dress, I couldn't hold back my tears. "Mom, don't cry," Emily laughed, though her eyes were wet too. "You'll ruin your makeup." "Happy tears, baby," I assured her, adjusting the vintage lace around her shoulders. Just happy tears. The dress fit her perfectly, as if it had been made for this moment. The same dress I'd worn 25 years ago. The one she'd played dress-up in as a little girl. Seeing her in it now, radiant and grown-up, made every bit of drama worth it. "I can't believe I'm finally wearing it for real," she whispered, turning to look in the mirror. "It's even more beautiful than I remembered. The ceremony was everything we dreamed it would be." Emily practically floated down the aisle, the vintage silk rustling softly with each step. Mark's face when he saw her, that look of pure love and awe, made my heart soar. I kept glancing at the empty seat where Robert should have been, but I refused to let his absence dim the joy of the day. This was Emily's moment, the fulfillment of a childhood dream, and nothing could spoil that. During the reception, I watched my daughter twirling on the dance floor in my dress, laughing and happy, surrounded by people who truly loved her. No snide comments, no hidden agendas, no drama, just pure, uncomplicated joy. It's been 4 months since Emily's wedding. The seasons have changed, leaves have fallen, and my old apartment feels both familiar and strange. Sometimes I wake up reaching for Robert's side of the bed, only to remember he isn't there. Hasn't been there for months now. Last week, I finally packed away my own wedding photos, the ones from that simple ceremony at City Hall with Robert. They'd been sitting in a drawer since I moved back here, like a question I wasn't ready to answer. As I tucked them into a box, I found myself wondering if he ever thinks about that day, about how happy we were before a wedding dress, of all things, tore us apart. Emily visits often. She and Mark are settling into married life beautifully, and seeing her happiness helps confirm that I made the right choice. Yesterday, over coffee, she asked if I regretted not giving Jessica the dress. No, I told her honestly. Some promises need to be kept, no matter the cost. She squeezed my hand and said, "I'm sorry it cost you your marriage, Mom." But was it the dress that ended things, or did it just expose cracks that were already there? Robert and I haven't spoken since Emily's wedding. No calls, no texts, not even through lawyers. Just silence. He hasn't made a single attempt to reach out, to try to understand my side of things, to find a way forward together. Sometimes when I'm alone at night, I imagine him picking up the phone, finally ready to talk. I picture us working through this, finding our way back to each other. After all, we did love each other once. Deeply, genuinely. Part of me still does, but I won't be the one to make that first call. I offered solutions. I tried to compromise. I even offered to pay for a beautiful, custom-made dress for Jessica. Besides, what more could I have done? Some may argue I'm being stubborn, that pride is not worth sacrificing a marriage. This is not about pride, though. It's about defending what is right. Regarding your word-keeping, about helping your kids to understand that their emotions and aspirations count. Now Emily's bridal dress lies in her wardrobe covered in memories and tissue paper. Sometimes I consider how much suffering might have started from something so lovely, designed to represent love and tradition. Then I recall Emily's face wearing it. She shone as she made her way down the aisle, and I am sure I would choose the same thing once more. Perhaps Robert will get that someday. Perhaps one day he will understand that real love is helping each other to uphold values rather than merely caving in to demands. Perhaps eventually we will be able to return to the basic pleasure we once enjoyed. I will be here in my old apartment living with choices till then, though. Sometimes acting morally requires following a lonely road, and occasionally love entails knowing when to be firm, even if that means standing alone.